We are 28 days out from Election Day, and campaigning continues on both sides despite the president's coronavirus diagnosis. We'll bring our own Real America's Voice contributor, Terrence K. Williams, on in just a moment to discuss. But first, let's take a look at today's top stories. The president returned to the White House yesterday evening after a 72-hour stay at Walter Reed Hospital, to joyful accolades from his supporters and folks in the media lashing out over the president's medications and mask usage.
And in the Biden campaign, a major breaking story today, as we have now learned about the investigations and the monitoring illegally of American citizens, at least 13 in all, including one that will be on this program in the next few minutes, Tudor.
Yes, and meanwhile, Joe Biden continues to make awkward and uncomfortable suggestions while on the campaign trail. Yesterday, cheering the possibility of his followers delivering a deadly blow to the president. Let's bring in Terrence K. Williams to discuss the president's homecoming. Terrence, the president arrived back at the White House last night, walking up the stairs under his own power despite having coronavirus. But today, instead of the focus being on his health, the focus is, of course, on his mask.
Well,
what do you think about that?
Well, first, I just have to say that God is good. God is great. And I am happy that President Trump is doing well, that he is doing better. He's feeling better. He's looking better. I mean, like he said, President Trump said, I mean, he's feeling better than he was 20 years ago. So I just really thank God, because we love President Trump, and we really were all worried about him and his health because of that Chinese virus. But now he's back. He's back at the White House. He's back at the people's house. And I'm glad he's back. And of course, you know, these loony liberals, they are mad that he's healthy again, that he is beating the crap out of that Chinese virus. So now they're finding things to complain about. You know, I never known anyone to attack a sick person. I mean, somebody that was not somebody that had a flu. But now, you know, since President Trump is getting over his sickness, these liberals are attacking him and finding things to complain about. Oh, he should have kept his mask on. Oh, he shouldn't have rode in the car. He shouldn't have put his thumb up when he was waving at people. You know, I mean, for the man was in a limousine, whatever he was in. I mean, he was the windows are bulletproof. COVID is not coming through those windows. A bullet can't even get through those windows. So I doubt COVID can get through those windows. So they're finding just unnecessary things to cry and complain about. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They wanted to see him fall, but guess what? He's standing tall, so they mad.
Terrence, I think that you don't give the left enough credit for when they attack. I mean, after all, they body shamed him over and over again on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By the way, if you didn't know, Donald Trump's overweight, Terrence. I know because I heard it every place that I turned the stations. He's overweight, you know, he's obese, as if this is something important. Listen, I hope I am in as good a shape as Donald Trump when I'm 74. I hope that if I've had a couple of good meals, I look just like that, and I can bounce right up the stairs and fight COVID off just like he did. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely, listen, President Trump, listen, I met the man, okay? He's not obese in my opinion. I mean, I didn't see no jelly rolls when I met him, so I guess it's hiding behind the suit. I don't know. But President Trump, he loves his Diet Cokes, though. I know that. I know he loves those. I know he loves those double cheeseburgers, and he like his burgers well cooked too. I know that for sure. And guess what? Despite him being a 74-year-old man who loves fast food and who loves to drink Diet Cokes, he is beating the crap out of that Chinese virus. So he is showing us that we can still continue to live on and get past this Chinese virus. So these people can complain about how he's obese and stuff like that, because he's not obese in my opinion. I mean, I guess Oprah, I mean, you call Oprah obese, they have a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? And she's the one that, I mean, she go up and down. I mean, I don't know how Weight Watchers is paying this woman, and she's always gaining weight and then losing weight, then gaining weight. But this is not even part of the topic. let's go back to President Trump. See, I can get off topic sometimes.
No, but you make a really good point, Terrence, because I remember just, a year ago when Jillian Michaels came out and said when people are overweight, you have the risk of diabetes, and folks just went crazy. I mean, here's a fitness expert who said exactly what you're saying now, and people said, how dare you suggest that somebody could end up with diabetes? Well, you have to still be healthy. But I want to play something for you because the president's doctor came out and said he's back. I just wonder how this also somewhat tortured the media. Here it is.
Status. Can you talk to about whether he has any neurological symptoms? Does he have any side effects from his medications? Any fogginess from the virus?
No, I think you've seen the videos and now the tweets, and you'll see him shortly. You know, he's back.
They asked if he has any neurological issues. Now, I personally have not heard of that as a side effect, but I'm sure that they were hoping the answer was he potentially does. However, you heard there Dr. Sean Connolly saying, no, he's back. What do you think their reaction was to that?
Well, the person who asked that question had a neurological issue, okay? I'm just saying. Now, they want this man to be crazy. President Trump is not crazy. They wanted the doctor to say that President Trump has gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He has not gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. President Trump is sane, and he's a stable genius, like he said many times before. And he is fine. And they wanted the doctor to say that President Trump had a lot of issues going on mentally, but that was not the case, so they're mad. There was a liberal doctor on Twitter who tweeted out that if President Trump was her patient, she would have locked it if he tried to leave the hospital, she would have locked him down, and she would have had him sent to a psychiatric mental facility.
Terrence, let me ask you this, because some of the reporters covering this said that Donald Trump, when he took off his mask on the deck up there and waved goodbye to Celine one as it flew up, that was irresponsible. They said that his attitude was cavalier about COVID-19 now, that he still doesn't take it seriously enough. Here's a guy who came out after he got back to the White House, made a short tape of about a minute and a half. We're going to play you a clip right here, and I think it projects leadership and confidence. Watch this, and we'll talk about it in just one moment.
And I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it.
Well, all the tough guys say, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not afraid. Well, be afraid for your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, your neighbor, your coworker. That's who you're protecting having this mask on.
So what's it going to be? Confidence and leadership, or be afraid and hide in your basement in Delaware? Let's be honest, Terrence, it's two different, very different approaches. Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, Joe Biden is a scary cat. We all know that. I mean, that's why he worked with one of the scariest presidents in the history of the United States of America, Obama. I mean, you know, you had scary cat number one and scary cat number two. So we don't need any scary cats in office. We need somebody who's going to be able to stand up for this country, stand up for Americans, to stand up for everyone, no matter what's going on. President Trump, he is the leader of this country. He cannot hide in the basement in the White House because there's a coronavirus that's traveling around the city and the states or whatever. President Trump cannot do that. He signed up to lead this country. He has to lead this country no matter what's going on. He can't stay in the house because it's raining outside. Oh, I don't want to get my hair wet. No, President Trump is going to go outside and get his hair wet. And we know he loved his hair, and we know he loved to stay looking good and all handsome, you know. But guess what? He is going to sacrifice all of that because he is the president of the United States of America. Joe Biden does not know what it means to sacrifice.
All right, Terrence K. Williams, as always, very colorful and entertaining. Thank you, Terrence, for being here as always. And Tudor, shifting gears now to a big story that is breaking. Now that we've seen some new emails that give us indication that several Americans, including our next guest, were being investigated by the State Department. John Solomon joining us from Just the News. John, thank you for taking the time today. I know you're very busy, but this article, very striking. People like Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, yourself, Sebastian Gorka, under investigation to protect, from what I read here, and help me, sir, but to protect Vice President Joe Biden from getting tarnished headed toward Election Day.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. You got it right. What happened was the State Department monitored our social media accounts using an intelligence tool known as CrowdTangle. It did so illegally. They were told to shut it down eventually because it violated the law. The State Department can't just go about intruding on Americans' social media accounts for any reason. Now, we've known about this in general. We knew that there was some monitoring going on because Judicial Watch did a great job getting some documents public, but those documents were edited out. And some of the things that were edited out were this: the fact that they shut it down specifically because it was illegal. They blacked that out the first time. I got the unredacted documents now. We now know it was illegal. Now, why is that important? Beyond the fact that they were doing something wrong, last year during the impeachment proceedings, when Marie Yovanovitch, the ambassador that Trump fired from Ukraine, was asked about this monitoring, she said it stopped because they ran out of resources. That does not appear to be accurate testimony.
So, John, was it Marie Yovanovitch who ordered this monitoring, or who did this, and are they liable? Can they be held liable?
Well, it's a great question, right? We know that Yovanovitch and her deputy, George Kent, were involved in it, were aware of it. George Kent wrote a memo describing why they started the targeting and monitoring of these 13 Americans, Sean Hannity, myself, President Trump's son, Don Jr., President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. They started it because they wanted to counter some narratives that my reporting then at the Hill had brought to the forefront. And one of those narratives was that George Soros had a relationship with the Ukraine embassy in U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. George Soros, one of the largest donors to liberal causes in American history. The second narrative they write that they wanted to stop was the Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Burisma conflict interest. The idea that Joe Biden, as vice president, was overseeing anti-corruption policy in Ukraine while his son and his company, Burisma, were under corruption investigation. George Kent writes in that he was concerned that this was, quote unquote, the motherlode issue that could carry all the way to November 2020 election. So think about that. We have State Department officials trying to monitor Americans because they're worried about a story that could affect Joe Biden's 2020 campaign chances. That should concern all of us. They shouldn't be involved in politics. They should stay in diplomacy and national security.
Well, John, as you read the list yourself included here, it's a who's who of conservative voices in many places. I mean, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Rudy Giuliani, Sebastian Gorka, yourself, writing about this consistently. This is a list of basically, if you will, enemies of the deep state, in a way, the way I read it, because if you're going to tarnish up Joe Biden, then we have to keep you monitored. And I think that's what Yovanovitch said in her testimony, in effect, that they wanted to keep track of the story, keep track of you, sir. How does that make you feel as an American citizen? And more importantly, we only have 4 weeks from today till Election Day. Will the story be shared? Will it be out there? Will it be something that people talk about, or will it get buried one more time?
Well, the mainstream media is not going to cover this, but there are many outlets like your own here at Real America's Voice, at Just the News, where we can reach millions of people every day. The story is trending very widely today. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of members of Congress are talking about it. Devin Nunes, the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, I just did an interview with him. He said he's deeply concerned and wants to go back now and see if the impeachment witnesses gave false testimony. So it's already having an impact. But at the end of the day, you know, a couple times in my career, I've had the weight of the U.S. government target me. Back in 2001, I did some very important reporting about what the government knew before 9/11 didn't act on. My phone records and mail were taken in that investigation without a warrant, by the way. That came to light. We ultimately got resolved. But it's chilling every time you see the full weight of the government used to go after people who are perceived enemies. We shouldn't have that in government. We should be apolitical. There should be following the law. In this case, there seems to be an enemies list, and there seems to have been a legal violation, and that should concern all of us, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent.
John, let's just fully unpack how twisted this story actually is, because if we go back to the impeachment hearings, if you remember, Maria Yovanovitch was a victim. She was Trump's victim. We heard over and over again that she was fired and that this was terrible, and then she was victimized supposedly during these hearings, that he was so horrible to her. But meanwhile, what we're finding out is that she was heavily involved in a cover-up for Joe Biden, which really is election meddling, because she's covering up his behaviors and his son's behaviors. But also, it seems as though she may have lied in her testimony by coming out and saying, well, I was only monitoring when my name appeared, but we've found out that that's not exactly true, is it?
Yeah, listen, they were monitoring because they were concerned about George Soros and the relationship with him, big donor, big liberal donor. They were concerned about Joe Biden's 2020 election chances. Those are my words. Those are their contemporaneous emails showing that. There's another thing that Yovanovitch testified to that I think has raised concern among some of the Republican House lawmakers that sat through those impeachment proceedings. And that's this. She said she didn't really know anything about Burisma, Hunter Biden, or Joe Biden and the Ukraine issue other than what she was briefed on before she went before her Senate confirmation hearing in July 2016, and what she read in the paper afterwards. What my reporting has shown and what documents we've been able to force out through FOIA is that she had like a dozen different contacts, some with Burisma officials directly, their lobbyists, their lawyer, and other people. She was talking about Burisma regularly, was being briefed on it, was aware that the State Department had serious concerns about Hunter Biden's role in the company. She seems to gloss over in that testimony and pretend like it was only things in the newspaper she knew about. That doesn't appear to be true. It clearly is not true that they stopped the monitoring of me and the other 12 because of a lack of resources. They stopped it because they were told it was illegal. So there appears to be some questions about her testimony. We'll see what Congress does about it next.
John, doesn't this make it more clear that there was something wrong with everything Hunter Biden did, not just in Ukraine, but the questionable transfer of $3.5 million from the former wife of the mayor of Moscow, the money that he received for deals in China, and the list goes on, as you well know. But doesn't this give a lot of credibility to the fact that Hunter Biden was doing and acting and making deals that would only happen because of his last name? His father also involved with Poroshenko and the firing of the prosecutor and all these different things that are coming to light now. Do you believe that Hunter Biden or possibly Joe Biden may have committed crimes along the way?
You know, to be determined. There just hasn't been the level of investigation that is needed to answer that. We know the Treasury Department flagged foreign transactions going to Hunter Biden's account as suspicious, possible money laundering, other things. It never got investigated as far as we can tell. The State Department said they saw a conflict of interest. Public officials like Joe Biden are supposed to avoid a conflict of interest. He didn't in this case. Here's the big one, though. We now know from documents I uncovered about 2 weeks ago, the State Department believed that Burisma, the company that hired Hunter Biden, the natural gas company in Ukraine, made a $7 million bribery payment while Hunter Biden was on the board to make the corruption investigation go away. That should concern us all. That hasn't been investigated, though we know the State Department referred it to the FBI in real time. So a lot of things got swept under the rug at the end of the Obama administration, and as a result, we can't answer that question of whether any laws were violated.
It's all very interesting, and we will definitely, we know you are our Hunter Biden, Joe Biden guy, so we're going to bring you back on. We did just talk about that
Thanks,
bribe,
Tudor.
and that is something that we know our audience is very interested in. John Solomon, thank you so much. Steve, it is shocking when you see these documents come out, and if Judicial Watch wasn't looking at this, no one else would be right now. We are fortunate to have John Solomon, who is bringing this to the forefront for us on a regular basis.
And it makes you wonder, and it certainly begs the question, do we have any reason to believe right now that this kind of surveillance, this kind of spying has ended on people like John Solomon or Sean Hannity or Rudy Giuliani or any of the 13 people on this list? That's this list, Tudor. I have no reason to believe that there isn't another list with more investigations and more spying and more looking into emails and smartphones. Based on what we've seen here, very frightening revelations, and sadly, as John pointed out, probably nobody in the mainstream media will take a closer look. Tudor?
No, and these are people that are looking into credible sources for right media, and that is unfortunate because they're cutting them off at the knees, but it looks like that's all turning around. We'll be right back after this break.
Uh-oh, there you go. Slow slicing fruits, veggies, and those stingy onions that bring you to tears. But not anymore. Introducing Nutrachopper, the compact handheld speed slicer that cuts up to 10 times quicker than a knife. Watch. You can have one slice or 10 perfect slices at once. Amazing! You can just julienne, or you can bundle slice julienne sticks at lightning speed. With Nutrachopper, you can slice the entire onion or mince a mound of onions and never have time for tears. Why slice a single apple wedge when you can wedge it all in one snap? Nutrachopper comes with the razor-sharp interchangeable stainless steel blades you need to make all of the cuts you want, and all incredibly quick. Chop thick slices, chop thin slices, chop cubes, chop sticks, and wedge whole fruits and vegetables in just 1 second. Slice it and cook it right in the pan, right on your stove. Chop and slice right into the pot for a family-sized stew with no mess. Snap and slice a fruit salad for the kids right into the bowl in seconds. Slice up a healthy salad for a quick and easy meal on the go. Cube meats and cheeses quick, in a snap. And Nutrachopper comes with a perfect portion container and fresh-keeping lid so you can slice it, seal it, and store it all in one. To clean, simply rinse or rack it in the dishwasher. Then lock it to store it safely in a drawer. And now the Nutrachopper with the thin slice, thick slice, wedge, and cube blades, and the slice and store container and lid, a value of over $40, is yours for just $19.99. But wait! Order now and we'll even pay the shipping for you. You get the complete Nutrachopper set with blades and container with lids, all for just $19.99 with free shipping. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-927-4071 or go online at Nutrachopper.com. That's 1-800-927-4071 or go to Nutrachopper.com. Order now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
You would think, with all of this talk of testing, Tudor, that they'd be lined up on Capitol Hill. They'd be taking temperatures and having tests available, those rapid tests that could get people figured out whether they have coronavirus or not. In fact, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have been offered this service a few times. I mean, there's plenty of tests to go around, despite what the Democrats would lead you to believe. Plenty of PPE as well. But, believe it or not, the Democrats say, yeah, we're good. Surprised? I'm not. Steve Scalise, member of Congress, the man gunned down by a left-of-center lunatic a couple of years ago, bounced back, thank God. And he says Nancy Pelosi has flat out rejected the idea of coronavirus testing right there at the Capitol. Listen.
These protocols have been out there. Testing capabilities have been out there for a long time. They were offered to the speaker, and she turned it down. And I think it's something that should have been in Congress for a few weeks now. But, you know, ultimately, that's what the speaker decided to do.
The same folks that are going after the president for standing on the Truman balcony at the White House all by himself, nobody within 100 feet, taking off his mask so he could salute Marine One as it took off toward the sunset with Donald Trump last night, criticizing him but refusing, Tudor, to not get tested themselves. Seems a bit unusual, doesn't it?
Well, especially coming from the party who says that they would do COVID better, and their number one thing they would do better is testing. This is what Nancy Pelosi keeps pushing, that she would test, she would test, she would test. apparently not if it's Democrats. You are not going to get tested if you work in government. I think she doesn't want it to come out that there are potentially Democrats who have this too, because how do you have so many Republicans that have suddenly had this outbreak right there in the same offices, but the Democrats haven't gotten it? Well, we have Dianne Feinstein saying, actually, if we do have any type of hearings or meetings, we could get it. So we're not going to. She says, to proceed at this juncture with a hearing to consider Judge Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court threatens the health and safety of all those who are called upon to do the work of this body. And so this is obviously the Senate. We have Nancy Pelosi, who's not testing, in the House. Now, I don't think Chuck Schumer is testing either, but Steve, I'm pretty sure we have another way to do hearings. What do you think?
Well, we do, and it's strange because I'm old enough to remember, Tudor, when just earlier this year, the Democrats were saying we can do all of these things virtually. We can do it virtually. We can have hearings. In fact, you may recall Nancy Pelosi was pushing to have votes by proxy or by virtual connection, Zoom, if you will. Chuck Schumer, here he is earlier this year saying, you know what, we can do all of this virtually. Listen to Chuck.
But we don't know. It's going to be up to the... It's how deep the coronavirus spreads that will determine when we come back. And if we can't come back for a long time, I think we should explore, as Senator Klobuchar and Durbin and Wyden and Warner are doing, a way to vote remotely only in an emergency situation.
Now, did he mention Senator Klobuchar? I believe he did, because you know what, Tudor? She too said we can do all of this virtually. We can go ahead and have conversations and hearings and meetings and keep everybody safe. That was until Amy Coney Barrett's name came up. Here's Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
and also thank you for being willing to do a hybrid hearing like we're seeing today. Senator Blunt and I in the Rules Committee worked hard to get this done, and I'm glad that we are seeing senators there as well as remotely. So thank you.
I guess it works for Senator Klobuchar. Senator Schumer thought it would work, Tudor. So, you know, I guess it's just something about, what's that word? Politics. That's the word, politics. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it does work for Senator Klobuchar, and actually she would be in the lower risk category, but still chose to do that, and it worked quite well. She actually talked about how she set it up. But now something interesting that the Biden-Harris, I made the same mistake Senator Harris made. The Biden-Harris campaign has decided. VP nominee Senator Harris, she came out and said she has to have plexiglass between she and Mike Pence at the VP debate, which the Pence group seems to think is a bit of a political ploy, but they're allowing it to happen. They said that's fine, even though they're 12 feet of distance as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting? Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this.
Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advance Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something. If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it. Absolutely. Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
I'm Nick Bolton, and these days...
Hey there.
Hey there. It seems everybody has a pair of tactical sunglasses.
Good morning.
Morning. But what if you already wear glasses? Then you need these Up Tac Glasses. These new glasses fit right over your existing eyewear to give you all the benefits of our Tac Glasses while you comfortably wear your regular glasses. Plus, like all Tac Glasses, Up Tac Glasses feature Bell & Howell light filtering technology that makes invisible objects suddenly become visible. There's just nothing like them on the market today. Here you go, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
Act now to get your Up Tac Glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship them to you free. But wait, order today and you can get a second pair. Just pay a separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-284-4127 or go to flipupglasses.com. That's 1-800-284-4127 or order online at flipupglasses.com.
So, Steve, this morning I heard on another news network that folks were talking about how there are cases across the nation that are spiking, several different areas. And they even said, despite the fact that there are heavy mask mandates in all of these areas, well, we know that there are also mask mandates in New York City, and they don't seem to be helping in certain areas. The governor has come out and blamed people for that. But I want to bring in Tom Borelli. He is a Real America's Voice contributor to talk about this. Tom, I want to ask you something because you're out there in New York. Now, we have these photos of subway cars in just the last 24 hours, and they are packed. We have experts who are saying, well, initially, the problem in New York was that it went through public transit. This is how this transferred so quickly. Look at these people. There is no social distancing. There's nothing, the people are wearing masks, but they're all crammed into this tiny space. And you know that these places, you and I both know that in New York City, you never know where folks on the subway have come from or where they're going. So they could have easily been in one of these areas where there is an uptick in the virus. But we're not focused on this. Instead, Tom, the governor is taking children out of schools. What is going on in New York?
Well, Tudor, great to be on with you, and I guess Steve as well. Maybe not so much with Steve. Anyway, with what's going on with the virus is, as we know, it's highly transmittable. And like the subways, the old sardine can packing, well, that certainly analogy always works well. But really what's going on here, Mayor de Blasio saw a little spike in Brooklyn and in Queens with a slight increase, I would call it actually, of the coronavirus. So de Blasio wants to close down all non-essential businesses, i.e. restaurants. And so Governor Cuomo responded, I think yesterday, that he's closing schools in these areas, in areas of Brooklyn and Queens. But the most interesting fact here is, remember, follow the science? The governor admitted he doesn't have testing data of all these schools, but he's closing them anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think, it's only my speculation, I think he's upset with the Jewish Orthodox community because they've been having weddings and large events, and he's out there trying to punish schools, some of which are within the Orthodox community area. So I think this is Cuomo just flexing his arrogant ego muscle to punish people because they're not obeying his orders.
Well, he did give an order, Tom. I mean, how dare you look the other way? He is in charge there, iron-fisted, just like Murphy in New Jersey and Whitmer in Michigan and Brown in Oregon. It's all the same. By the way, I think I can answer Tudor's question off the top. Why are they not up in arms about the subway riders? I'll tell you why. They don't have MAGA hats on, and they're not Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, if he rides in the back of a limousine separated by 12 feet and a divider in the Suburban, the left goes crazy. All of those folks packed onto subway cars, that's all perfectly fine. I do want you to listen to this. Yeah, you just mentioned this about Cuomo targeting the Orthodox Jewish community. I think there's some truth to that. Listen to what the governor had to say here, Tom.
I have to say to the Orthodox community tomorrow, if you're not willing to live with these rules, then I'm going to close the synagogues.
I'm going to close the synagogues. You know, I've checked the Constitution, my copy. Maybe yours is different, Tom. I don't see an exception in the First Amendment, any clause about unless somebody's not feeling well or a governor feels that he can be power hungry. Did I miss that in civics class?
No, you did not. But apparently, Governor Cuomo, who I think is a lawyer, missed it in his classes. Of course, he's governor of New York State because his daddy was I think, a 4-time governor of New York State. So that kind of greases the skids a little bit, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, it's ironic that they always criticize President Trump and say that he's some sort of, czar or tyrant. Look at Governor Cuomo. Don't forget, he is the one who sent COVID-19 patients into nursing homes. He did that, and that resulted in more than 6,000 deaths of the elderly and the most vulnerable. And when he did that, we knew the elderly was the most vulnerable, but that doesn't matter. Recently, I think he denied he did it in a interview somewhere in New York State. So I think this is all part of his cover-up plan somehow. And ironically, New York State, I think the infection level is like the lowest, I think, in the nation now. It's in the area of like 1.2%. The rest of the country may be like 5%. I think Cuomo really wants to clamp down to make sure he could tout at some point in the future that New York State has the lowest infection rate. But we all know it's not the infection rate that matters. It's the fatality rate that matters. And that's where New York State led the country.
Yeah, let's talk about that comparison you were making to President Trump and Governor Cuomo, because when this was all starting up with coronavirus, there were a lot of folks on the left who were saying, Cuomo for president, he needs to run. We should move Biden out and put him in. Now, interestingly, you brought up the nursing homes. President Trump came home yesterday and took his mask off on the balcony, and there were multiple tweets that came out calling him a mass murderer, a serial killer, someone who wanted Americans to die. No one has had, Governor Cuomo has not had that kind of backlash. Let me also take you back to the beginning when President Trump was calling this the China virus and referring to the country of China and the government there as being a problem. Now you have Governor Cuomo coming out and targeting Orthodox Jews. No one is saying anything about this. How can that be?
Well, it's really the anti-Trump media. This is another one of those classic examples of where if you're a Democrat, you really could do anything and really almost get away with murder, almost literally here with respect to the nursing homes. But President Trump, he goes into the hospital, and I think a lot of the people really wish he didn't come out of the hospital. He comes out and he stands in the White House, and I think that really bothered him. So they have to pick him apart, anything he does, whether he's riding in a limo or standing by himself on a porch at the White House. It's all about getting President Trump. And the truth is really what's being lost in all of this. Again, it just shows you just on how unfair the media really is and how they really just issue out propaganda after propaganda.
4 weeks to go, Tom. We're almost down to Election Day. 4 weeks to go. I want you to put your political finger into the air and check the wind. Any indication, some polling here, the IBD tip poll shows that the lead for Biden has dwindled from 8 points to just 2.5. The Democracy Institute says nationwide that the president now is winning. Then CNN comes out with a poll today that says that Biden's winning by 16 points. Nobody believes that, not even the people at CNN, but that's where we are. I'll give you 20 seconds for the last word.
Well, I think as we approach the election, I think President Trump really stands a very good chance, an excellent chance of being reelected. Because remember, in 2016, he was far behind Hillary Clinton. Here in 2020, there was a lot more enthusiasm now for President Trump than there was in 2016. So time will tell, but I think we're going to see another term of President Trump.
All right. Tom Borelli, thank you very much. And Tudor, we've got special coverage coming up for the vice presidential debate, I believe, coming up tomorrow at 8 o'clock right here on Real America's Voice. You don't want to miss the coverage right here. Uninterrupted, by the way. You can see Mike Pence and Kamala Harris divided by that big, beautiful piece of plexiglass, because it'll be right there on the stage to make sure that nobody is contaminating anyone. We want to make sure everyone's safe, Tudor. Again, right here, live coverage beginning at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Real America's Voice. Tell your friends, gather around, pop the popcorn. We'll have it all right here for you, uninterrupted. This is America's Voice News. We'll be right back.
Uh-oh, there you go. Slow slicing fruits, veggies, and those stingy onions that bring you to tears. But not anymore. Introducing Nutrachopper, the compact handheld speed slicer that cuts up to 10 times quicker than a knife. Watch. You can have one slice or 10 perfect slices at once. Amazing! You can just julienne, or you can bundle slice julienne sticks at lightning speed. With Nutrachopper, you can slice the entire onion or mince a mound of onions and never have time for tears. Why slice a single apple wedge when you can wedge it all in one snap? Nutrachopper comes with the razor-sharp interchangeable stainless steel blades you need to make all of the cuts you want, and all incredibly quick. Chop thick slices, chop thin slices, chop cubes, chop sticks, and wedge whole fruits and vegetables in just 1 second. Slice it and cook it right in the pan, right on your stove. Chop and slice right into the pot for a family-sized stew with no mess. Snap and slice a fruit salad for the kids right into the bowl in seconds. Slice up a healthy salad for a quick and easy meal on the go. Cube meats and cheeses quick, in a snap. And Nutrachopper comes with a perfect portion container and fresh-keeping lid so you can slice it, seal it, and store it all in one. To clean, simply rinse or rack it in the dishwasher. Then lock it to store it safely in a drawer. And now the Nutrachopper with the thin slice, thick slice, wedge, and cube blades, and the slice and store container and lid, a value of over $40, is yours for just $19.99. But wait! Order now and we'll even pay the shipping for you. You get the complete Nutrachopper set with blades and container with lids, all for just $19.99 with free shipping. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-927-4071 or go online at Nutrachopper.com. That's 1-800-927-4071 or go to Nutrachopper.com. Order now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price plus free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Continuing now on this Tuesday with America's Voice Live. Glad you're along for the ride. We're going to head out to our Denver studios now and join Jessica Rivera, who had a very special interview yesterday, to say the least. Jessica, good to have you here today. Take it away.
Unfortunately, Jessica, the answer is no. They have taken very limited steps, and unfortunately, the same two-tier justice system has continued, whereby those who have deep Washington connections are forever protected from ever having to disclose any truth or ever have any accountability, while those people who are Trump supporters, such as myself and others, keep getting raked over the coals with no justice whatsoever. So, I mean, there are some slight glimmers of hope, but unfortunately the cover-up has continued, and a lot of additional dirty tricks by the very same perpetrators have persisted to this day.
And Carter, the next report many have been waiting for is federal prosecutor John Durham's report, which is basically an investigation into the investigators of the Russia collusion report. We hear Durham recently, we heard, will not have the report out before the election because his report has now been expanded into investigating the Clinton Foundation. What do you expect when Durham's report comes out?
Well, all I know is what happened, having lived through all of this. And actually, there was one very initial charge which was brought and which one perpetrator pleaded guilty to. That's a gentleman by the name of Kevin Kleinsmith. He's the FBI lawyer, and he pleaded guilty back in August to false statements. And unfortunately, there have been so many false statements throughout all three branches of government, not only in federal courts, but also in Congress, as well as within members of the executive branch, where the perpetrators who tried to interfere in our last presidential election have just continued to say more and more lies, and it's just created incremental damage. It's a very long list in terms of people that were involved in this. Even in the Kleinsmith charging document, on the second page, they talk about other members of the Crossfire Hurricane team, which is this entire witch hunt made-up scandal, which was instigated by the Democrats. And so there's obviously a lot of people involved. We've known that for years, and hopefully eventually we'll get some justice. But very difficult to say because there are so many perpetrators involved in these criminal activities.
And Carter, in last week's first presidential debate, Democrat nominee and former Vice President Joe Biden flatly denied his son Hunter Biden took huge sums of money from corrupt oligarchs and Chinese communists while his father was vice president. But a recent Treasury Department report shows Hunter did receive money to the tune of $3.5 million from Russia, specifically the former mayor of Moscow's wife. How can this be overlooked at this point? It doesn't seem like the mainstream media wants to cover it, especially when there's a report out. And do you expect Durham's report to come out with more on Hunter?
Well, it's difficult to know because there's been a lack of information shared, but there clearly were a lot of people involved. And a lot of people have noted that, Hunter Biden is a perfect example whereby Washington insiders and people with connections with career politicians such as Joe Biden are completely protected, whereas individuals who are outsiders and just loyal American citizens who have never done anything wrong are just completely raked over the coals, and our lives are put at risk. So it's just another perfect example of two standards of justice, and again, very hard to predict as to what will happen. But I think really the most important element is the Americans need to know the truth. And unfortunately, the media has been very of very little help in terms of telling the truth because they just add lie upon lie. And Mr. Biden continues to perpetrate those same types of offenses as well with his continued lies to the American public, including during that debate when he was confronted about some of these questions. But we'll have to see what happens. But I think it's important that all Americans know the truth and continue digging and demanding the truth, because if people just listen to what career politicians say, we're never really going to know the full story.
And you wonder if we're ever going to know the full story. Special thanks to Jessica Rivera in our Denver studio with Carter Page. And Tudor, you have to wonder, John Durham has been, a bit of a dream, I think, for those on the right, a dream for Republicans. Will he come through? Will there be prosecutions? I think before the election, I think it's become ever more unlikely we'll hear anything from John Durham prior to the November 3rd elections.
A lot of people are hoping that he'll come out with something, but I fear you may be right. But tomorrow night, we will hear from at least Mike Pence and Senator Harris, because we are going to have a vice presidential debate, which in the past have not held that much weight, actually. But in this case, This may be a debate that everybody is watching this year. The first presidential debate was a wild ruckus affair. I don't think that we'll see that here, but I think people are very curious as to where each of these folks stands, especially Senator Harris, because she could be taking over as president, as Joe Biden has made the comment several times. We will be covering it here on America's Voice at 8 p.m., so make sure you tune in. We have a quick break now. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
I'm Nick Bolton, and these days...
Hey there.
Hey there. It seems everybody has a pair of tactical sunglasses.
Good morning.
Morning. But what if you already wear glasses? Then you need these Flip Up Tac Glasses. These new glasses fit right over your existing eyewear to give you all the benefits of our tack glasses while you comfortably wear your regular glasses. Plus, like all tack glasses, Flip Up Tac Glasses feature Bell & Howell light filtering technology that makes invisible objects suddenly become visible. There's just nothing like them on the market today. Here you go, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
Act now to get your Flip Up Tac Glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship them to you free. But wait, order today and you can get a second pair. Just pay a separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-284-4127 or go to flipupglasses.com. That's 1-800-284-4127 or order online at flipupglasses.com.
Right now, something that we can all agree on is that when coronavirus came, the economy went on the downturn, and it was a big downturn. However, a lot of folks would say this was not the president's fault because obviously we had to shut down the country. Some Democrats shut down longer than Republicans did, and ultimately that affected the economy even more. Of course, Joe Biden came out in the debate and said this president had the best economy in the world and he tanked it. Now, that is at one point when Chris Wallace pushed back a little bit and said, I don't know if that's a fair statement because of coronavirus, but the president needs that economy to go up, and we had a surprising report last week. We're going to go to our own Carrie Sheffield in Washington, D.C. with just the news for a report on the jobs numbers. Carrie?
Hello there, Tudor. We want to give you an update here at justthenews.com on the economy. Now, I just got off the phone with the chief White House economist. His name is Joe LaVorgna, and he gave me some great analysis on the jobs report. It was buried a bit in the news cycle, understandably, because the president was admitted to the hospital for coronavirus on Friday. But we had a jobs number that came out with the unemployment showing a drop to 7.9%. Now, a lot of economists had expected it to remain above 8%. So in that respect, it was exceeding expectations. However, many financial journalists and elsewhere noted that the job growth had slowed. So we have seen job growth that has been astronomical over the summer as businesses were reopening after the coronavirus. But I want to let you know that he pointed out there was a big difference between the jobs recovery numbers since the shutdown. Most of the financial press is saying the recovery was 11.4 million jobs. He makes the case that the household employment data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics actually has said there is 14.2 million jobs recovered of the 22 million that have been lost during the coronavirus. So he also said that when you look at the future projections, data coming out of the Federal Reserve, from Dallas, from Kansas City, from other places, suggests that within the next 6 months, businesses say they expect to expand their building, their inventory, their manufacturing. And he says that the expectations, the 6 months forward look, according to the Federal Reserve, is suggesting that the jobs growth in these areas is exceeding the expectations of the last 3 years in terms of these same reports and projections. So the White House has positive expectations for the economy, for it to continue in Q4 here, as we just started Q4 here in 2020. The White House expects to see continued growth. Go to justthenews.com. We will keep you posted on this and other stories.
Thank you, Carrie. Steve, she makes a really good point. This is a story that was buried in the news cycle because the president was obviously undergoing treatment for the coronavirus. Not many news agencies picked this up. Not many people were speaking about this, but it is really significant news. And what she's saying about having the economy bounce back even better in the next 6 months, that's one thing that polls very well for the president. When the polls come out and say who can make this economy come back, Joe Biden does not do as well as the president. Does he, Steve?
Not even close. In fact, it's usually 60% or better that choose the president as being the best candidate to look after the economy. And let's face it, Tudor, when it comes to the economy, many people vote their pocketbooks. That's the bottom line. And so when you look at the possibility that unemployment is below 8%, I don't think any of us thought that was really a likely possibility. We looked at unemployment rates of 15 and 16% in the middle of summer, but now 7.9% after adding 661,000 new jobs last month. The question is, how low will it go before we get to Election Day? The magic number is 7.2%. No president has ever been reelected with an unemployment rate above 7.2%. Just something for you to take note of. Will it be that low? I don't know, but there could be special dispensation this year because of the COVID pandemic and everything that we've been dealing with. People say we're on the right track at least, but we won't know until November the 3rd.
Right. As I said, this is something that Joe Biden was pushing hard on, saying the economy was tanked under this president. Even Chris Wallace came back and said, I don't know if you can really say that. And I don't think that plays with the American people. You can't treat the American people like they're not smart or they haven't lived through the same thing that we've lived through. So I don't think that's a winning argument for Joe Biden, but we'll see where he takes it as he campaigns. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this. Let's stack the deck. When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advance Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price plus free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
You are watching America's Voice Live. I'm Tudor Dixon here with Steve Gruber, and this is the second hour today, this Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. We are 28 days out from Election Day, and campaigning is continuing on both sides, despite the fact that the president has been diagnosed with coronavirus, but he seems to be campaigning from Twitter. Steve, let's take a look at today's top stories. The president returned to the White House yesterday evening after his 72-hour stay at the hospital. He returned to joyful accolades from his supporters, but people in the media, they just keep lashing out. They are not happy about the medications he was on. And as you can see here, Steve, this mask removal really freaked people out.
Yeah, they seem to be hung up on that one. What they should be focusing on, they seem to be ignoring. A breaking story out of the Ukraine developments involving Hunter Biden one more time and the illegal surveillance of Americans. In fact, the State Department told officials they were breaking the law by monitoring Americans, and they were doing it to protect Hunter Biden's Ukraine connections, Tudor.
Yes, and meanwhile, his father, Joe Biden, continues to make awkward and uncomfortable suggestions while on the campaign trail. Yesterday, he was actually cheering the possibilities of his followers delivering a deadly blow to the president. But first, we do have that video of the president arriving home. Steve, you just saw him take off his mask, which sent the media into a tailspin. But he also walked up the stairs under his own power, walked up there. He was showing the country that he is strong, he is back from this virus, and he is ready to work. In fact, his own doctor had the same to say. He was asked some interesting questions from the media, who, as I told you, seems to be more upset that the president is back and strong rather than happy that he is home and saluting there. But here is Dr. Sean Connolly and what he had to say yesterday.
Status. Can you talk to about whether he has any neurological symptoms? Does he have any side effects from his medications? Any fogginess from the virus?
No, I think you've seen the videos and now the tweets, and you'll see him shortly. You know, he's back.
He's back, Tudor. Of course, the doctor caught grief for that as well on social media. The social media cesspool went wild. How can he say that? How does he know what's going on? He's a liar. He's not telling us the truth about the president's condition, and so on and so on and so forth. Just remember, folks, social media is not real. It's an electronic cesspool. Enter at your own risk. Meanwhile, when the president did get back to the White House and after he removed his mask, he spoke for a minute and a half or so to the American people and said, listen, don't be afraid. Don't let this virus control your life. He didn't say be reckless. He said, in fact, be careful. But he stood up and said, we can't allow this virus to control our, well, frankly, everything. Compare and contrast that to what Joe Biden has to say. Listen.
And I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. you're going to beat it.
Well, all the tough guys say, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not afraid. Well, be afraid for your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, your neighbor, your coworker. That's who you're protecting having this mask on.
By the way, that event last night on another network was embarrassing, to be kind. It was supposed to be a bunch of undecided voters. I listened to 2 or 3 of the questions. Clearly, Tudor, they were not undecided. They were all Joe Biden supporters. It was a softball fest put out there. More of an infomercial I saw described today. I think that was fairly accurate. Joe Biden still, even with the softball questions, has some difficulty. Now, having said that, we do know that the second debate is coming up in, 9 days in Miami. Joe Biden says he will be here as long as the scientists say it's safe. I would ask a doctor, Joe, not a scientist, my crazy idea. Ask a doctor, your doctor, for example, maybe the White House physician as well. But Donald Trump says he just tweeted out, in fact, I know he's feeling better, Tudor, because he's tweeting all over. He says he'll be there in Miami on the 15th.
Of course he did. He is definitely back, as his doctor said. And Joe Biden is definitely asking people to be afraid, which is very interesting because even top epidemiologists are coming out and saying the best thing in a situation like this is to stay calm. That is the opposite of going out and telling people to be afraid. But Joe Biden also had a little bit of a, maybe a misstep. I don't know exactly how to describe this, but he talked about this yesterday in Florida. Take a look.
Think about this. Wouldn't it be an irony, the irony of all ironies, if on election eve it turned out Haitians delivered the coup de grace in this election?
That is the final blow, the death blow. Now, I think that what he was talking about is saying that in a campaign sense, but Steve, this isn't something that President Trump would get away with. If he said this, people would go bananas, and I have not heard one person in the mainstream media say a thing.
Well, if you think that's a little bit wild, listen to what else Joe Biden has to say, Tudor. He's been able to stay home at Delaware, as we all know, in his basement. We've all talked about it several times. While Donald Trump was out there leading the free world, exposing himself apparently to COVID and the risks that he was taking because he had work to do as the leader of the free world, he said you can't do that from your basement. Bad things will happen. But Joe Biden let us in on a little bit of a secret here yesterday. You see, he's been able to be in his basement. Why? Because of people that stock the shelves, specific people that stock the shelves. Listen closely.
You see, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Some black woman was allowed to stock the grocery shelves. Really, Joe? Is it because that's how you imagine the world? Is it blatant pandering that you're offering there? Are you suggesting that black women get lower level jobs, stocking shelves, as opposed to being a senator or vice president like yourself? What exactly am I getting out of this? But it seems like it's always grasping at the race straw for the former vice president. At least that's the impression I get, Tudor. There he is, grasping at the race straw again. Remember, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. And it's one of these remarks after another after another. At some point, you begin to understand why Donald Trump is polling at the last poll I just looked at right here, 18%. 18%. And if that does come to pass, that Donald Trump gets double digits in the black voters on Election Day, it's curtains for Joe Biden. In the basement, I suppose, Tudor.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that video was that was a few weeks back in September, but a Trump supporter, a pro-Trump Twitter user, actually posted that video on Monday night, and his Twitter account, as soon as that video went viral, his Twitter account was suspended. So again, this goes to who is protecting this vice president right now. Is Twitter banning people who are just pointing? I mean, this was all the person posted was this video and saying, listen.
They're banning everybody, Tudor. That's exactly what's happening. They're banning anybody and everybody. Well, you're looking at what's happening here. The big story we had earlier of the State Department monitoring people like Sean Hannity, John Solomon, and others in an effort to protect Joe Biden from any bad narrative. I mean, this is what's going on, being ignored by the big networks, covered here at Real America's Voice, because we think we owe the American people the truth, and we're doing our best to get there. By the way, come tomorrow here on the network, you'll have a chance to see the first and only vice presidential debate. It'll happen here. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Mike Pence on one side of the plexiglass, Kamala Harris, the senator from California, on the other side of the plexiglass. Let the fight begin. It's all here tomorrow. Don't miss it.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow Mattress Topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow Mattress Topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow Mattress Topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow Topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow Mattress Topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow Topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow Topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
We do want to get straight to the breaking news. We have John Solomon had Congressman Devin Nunes on his podcast just a few moments ago, and Congressman Nunes says that he now has information that the CIA withheld information in 2018 from his panel showing concerns that Hillary Clinton's campaign may have concocted the Trump-Russia story. I want to go straight to that now with John Solomon.
Does that concern you that the CIA felt strong enough in the summer and fall of 2016 to make a referral to the FBI that, hey, there's something going on here, the Clinton campaign might be concocting a Russia collusion story to take care of some of Hillary Clinton's liabilities or hide them or disguise them? You get to 2018, Gina Haspel's the CIA director, and something this important, a referral to the FBI, a Russian intercept that suggests that something untoward was going on in the Clinton campaign. It never gets to the preeminent House Intelligence Committee. Do you feel like it was part of a cover-up? Why do you think you didn't get it?
Well, I'm not going to, until this information's out, John, it's hard for me to confirm anything that I'm not going to confirm anything that you just said there, because until Director Ratcliffe speaks and does a declassification, but I can just say broadly, the information that was that the intelligence community had clearly was information that we should have had. And because we didn't have it, it's clear that there was a deliberate cover-up. There's been a cover-up of our intelligence. We did an assessment. That's been covered up. We did an investigative referral back to the CIA and the DNI IG back when I was chairman. It looks like that got swept under the rug, and now we know why. We know why because we brought up what we had evidence of was a tradecraft problem. We said, clearly this is a tradecraft problem, a massive tradecraft problem. Little did we know that they were right below where we were. There were probably, what I'm guessing, dozens and dozens of intelligence products that would be completely blow up this entire narrative. And had we received all this, this should have been under our original subpoena.
Absolutely. Back
in February, March of 2017. All these documents should have been immediately turned over. And I'm a little bit disappointed, and I don't know, maybe they kept it so close held that there was nobody. I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't receive any whistleblowers that would have come in and said, wait a second, because the amount of evidence is overwhelming, John. That's the problem with this. It's just so overwhelming. What's in DNI Ratcliffe's letter is just a quick synopsis, an assessment of what happened. Yeah. So everything underneath that was clearly there was a mountain of evidence that the intelligence community knew about. And, they're supposed to speak truth to power. What it appears like is that the Democratic National Committee and the Clintons and Obamas, they clearly own the IC agencies in this country. And that's what happens when a country falls apart. I mean, that's what happens in third world countries. And I don't say that lightly, but there has to be an absolute cleanup of these intelligence agencies. It's got to be. DC's got to be cleaned out. All these senior officials have to be to be let go. It's really, really bad that this would stay hidden for so long, and they knew about it, and then they continue to try to hide this.
Right.
And and like I said, this is overwhelming evidence, and I don't know. And I don't say this because look, I've been one of the. I've been a hawk on Russia, on China for so long, and I understand the importance of having a robust intelligence capability, but not if that intelligence capability is going to be used by one political party over the other. And that's the problem here, is that the DC apparatus has become totally partisan. They're all in on it. You only have to look as far as even the fake whistleblowers that continue to come up. All this crap has got to end. We jump from whistleblower to whistleblower. It's Ukraine, then it's now it's Homeland Security. Right. Before that, it's Trump, Russia. When the reality is the only people that were colluding with Russia and Ukraine and China were the Bidens.
John Solomon there with Congressman Nunes. Shocking revelations that we're hearing when you have a sitting congressman say that they now have evidence that our intelligence community was owned by the Obamas and the Clintons. This is obviously all new to us, but we are going to bring you more as we have it. And if we have more news, we will obviously break in and bring it to you. But right now, I want to bring in Kyle Olson with Breitbart News to talk a little bit more about Biden. This all connects to Joe Biden. Kyle, you just heard that report. It's pretty shocking information there. You study the vice president regularly. Was this all to protect him?
Well, I think that basically Joe Biden is, neck deep when it comes to what the Obama administration was doing. And so he loves to claim credit for everything the Obama administration did. But when it comes to these sorts of allegations, and there was the Senate report last week detailing the payments that were made to Hunter Biden, and seems to me like pretty blatant corruption was going on between the wife of the former Moscow mayor and the oligarchs in Ukraine and China, etc. It just seems to me like the Biden family is neck deep in all of this. But where is the question? You go back to the debate last week. Where was the question from Chris Wallace about any of this? It was President Trump who was attempting to bring it up. And then you had Joe Biden just dismissing it, and you had Chris Wallace, cutting him off and all of that. Where's the mainstream media asking any questions about any of this? They're completely derelict of duty and AWOL.
Absolutely. We know that the campaign thoroughly expected Hillary Clinton to win. Obviously, they figured they could just go in and continue with this corruption. It makes sense now as to why out of 24 candidates they picked Joe Biden, because they need somebody to go back in and cover up all of the evidence that is clearly going to come out regardless. But I want to talk about something that you wrote yesterday about Joe Biden, because one thing that we know we've heard about for years is that Joe Biden invades people's space. In fact, he even went on The View and had a discussion about this and said, well, he didn't really realize this. But there's been an ongoing conversation about his inappropriate behavior with women and children. Now, I want to play something that was from your article yesterday that he said to some young girls that were at an event he was at. Here it is.
Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And I want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older, too.
It's really hard to hear people in a mask. I think it's very silly that he continues to speak with a mask on, because most people who are speaking into a microphone take their mask off. But if you didn't hear what he said, the bad news for you is I will be back in 4 years, and I want to see those little girls when they're 4 years older dancing again. Was this the best move for Joe Biden?
To me, it just is another example of how he just makes sort of creepy, inappropriate comments. And, if this was a standalone comment, I think people would just sort of dismiss it. But when you have, the examples from where he was swearing in senators, and he was putting his hands in little girls' hair, and he was, putting his hands on women's bodies and all of that. To me, this is just a perpetuation of the sort of attitude that he has had towards women and invading their space. And I also wrote over the weekend that 60 Minutes Australia was one of the few news outlets that actually talked about Tara Reade's allegations, very graphic, specific allegations against Joe Biden back in the early 1990s. The problem with that, of course, is that it's 60 Minutes Australia. Why is 60 Minutes America not running a story like that?
No, I agree. I saw that and I was horrified by this, and it all goes to these allegations. I will never forget the video that you see of him with his arms locked around Hillary Clinton's waist. She looks like she is just like a cat trying to escape. She's pushing back from him, but it's just one example of many of him kissing people's wives, their children, always smelling their hair. This is something that we've seen over and over again. But we also have this question now as to whether or not he is going to be far left, or if he's going to be the typical moderate candidate that he's supposedly been his entire life. But a question I have for you is, why, if he is so middle of the road, and he keeps coming out in these debates and saying he's not a socialist, he doesn't believe in socialized medicine, he doesn't believe in what the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders are pushing, and yet he has Bernie Sanders campaigning for him?
Yeah, that's a really good question. He said again yesterday during an NBC town hall last night in Florida, I beat the socialist. And so he again is trying to distance himself from the socialists, yet Bernie Sanders was in Michigan. He made 2 stops in Michigan yesterday, in Ann Arbor and Macomb County. Very small crowds, which was sort of surprising to me, because really there are a lot of people who have speculated that if Elizabeth Warren didn't drop out of the race when she did, she would have taken votes away from Biden, and Bernie Sanders would be the nominee. And you look at the enthusiasm gap. Clearly, there was more enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders amongst the rank and file voters, grassroots supporters, than there was for Joe Biden. But what's interesting to me is that those stops in Michigan, but then there was also a campaign rally, if you want to call it that, in New Hampshire that Bernie Sanders did over the weekend. And it was, as I wrote on Breitbart, there were tens of people who turned out. And so what does that mean? There's all sorts of ways you can speculate about what that means. But what's interesting to me is that you are not seeing the big crowds turn out for Bernie Sanders. Of course, Joe Biden isn't really holding rallies because I think for the same reason he would not get those crowds. And if you're able to contrast the large Trump crowds with the very tiny Biden crowds, that's very interesting. But he's not doing these rallies. And so, it just seems to me that there is an enthusiasm gap between these candidates. But, there's 20 some days left. We're going to have to wait and see how it turns out.
Yeah, Joe Biden has really lucked out that he hasn't had the opportunity to do any of these rallies. But it's interesting that you bring up Elizabeth Warren, because I remember when they were all campaigning, Elizabeth Warren was starting to have some pretty significant rallies. She would go out into the streets in California, end up with 16,000 to 20,000 people there. And people were pushing back on her. She didn't really have support from the establishment Democrats to go forward. They really wanted to back Joe Biden. Obviously, this breaking news that's coming out today would indicate that the establishment Democrats wanted Joe Biden in there for some other reason. But you make a good point. You have Bernie Sanders, who you would think would also pull in the crowds. In Michigan, now we know they're using the excuse that people have to be socially distanced. They can't be out there. But he is not pulling in the crowds. But one person he was pulling in was someone with a Trump flag. I want to show you this video of this woman blocking Bernie Sanders here in Michigan. I know you wrote about this. Here it is. You can't see him because she's holding up her Trump flag, but they can't seem to get it away from her. Here it is.
Increase. They need a $15 an hour minimum wage, and that is what Joe Biden is proposing. And Joe Biden understands that it is absurd that women get.
We have about a minute left, but I think that goes to show how divided Michigan is right now. It was a very tight state in 2016, but even with those few people that showed up, you had somebody with a very large Trump flag.
Right, and it was almost sort of comical because they weren't sure what to do. This woman was holding up this flag. There were a couple different people who tried to tear it down. She ended up being detained by the police, and there was video in the story that I wrote where someone who appeared to be a news photographer, because he had, a professional camera and a lanyard with a media credential and all of that, he actually came up and ripped the flag out of her hand and walked away. And so, it's really interesting to see all of this play out in Michigan, because as you said, it was a very tiny crowd. They're doing what they're calling drive-in rallies. So you have people in their cars. They clearly were honking in disapproval of the Trump flag. But it was kind of a funny thing to watch.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Kyle Olson with Breitbart News. We appreciate having you on. We'll have you back for sure. And Michigan is an interesting state right now because we just had our governor's orders overturned. And so far, the Michigan Supreme Court is saying she can't have these executive orders, but now she's trying to come through Michigan Health and Human Services. We're going to have an interview with the attorney who worked on that case next, right after this. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction, then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside-down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone Pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price plus free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Since early on in the pandemic, there have been battles all over this country, in Wisconsin, in New York, in Michigan, in Florida, in Georgia, over mask mandates and lockdowns and businesses being closed that just seem to continue on. A few weeks ago in Wisconsin, the state Supreme Court there overturned the governor's power to lock people down and shut businesses. In Michigan, the state Supreme Court there on Friday struck down as unconstitutional scores of executive orders put forth by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. But she didn't skip a beat. In fact, she turned over the authority to mandate masks and gatherings and to keep bars and restaurants regulated and closed in many cases. She turned it over to the health department in the state, making an end run. And then last night released this video on social media. Look.
But I won't let partisan politics get in the way of doing what's necessary to keep people safe and save lives. To protect our most vulnerable residents and frontline workers, the Department of Health and Human Services will issue epidemic orders to maintain our statewide mask mandate and limitations on gatherings. The CDC and public health experts agree these measures are crucial to slow the spread of the virus, to protect our frontline workers and keep our schools and small businesses open.
In fact, some of the restrictions now are more strict and stringent than those that were struck down as unconstitutional by the courts on Friday. Joining me now is Catherine Henry. She is the attorney that successfully argued in front of the Michigan Supreme Court that the laws that were being relied on to keep emergency orders in place were not constitutional. Catherine, welcome to the program. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Now, the governor didn't waste much time at all going to her department heads. Now, my question to you is this. Basically, the governor has snubbed her nose at the Supreme Court and saying, well, okay, we're not going to worry about that. In fact, they're going all the way back to a 1918 law, is the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, to reissue these directives, these rules, these lockdowns. Some of them, like if you're in a gathering of 2 or more outside, you have to have a mask on outdoors. Where would you like to begin, Catherine? It's all very infuriating for people in Michigan.
It is. So the state Supreme Court was very clear when they ruled on Friday that the governor was violating, not the governor, but the entire EPGA, the 1945 law, violated the separation of powers clause of our state constitution. That's Article 3, Section 2. And by her issuing any kind of orders
that require people to wear masks when they're in public, or to be socially distant from each other, or to have restaurants that have capacity, or any of those things. Those kinds of restrictions upon people are her exercising a legislative type of authority. And therefore, they said, that directly violates Article 3, Section 2 of our state constitution. So the fact that she then says to the people, well, first of all, she said, well, no, I have 21 days to keep having my orders, even though they're unconstitutional. That's a load of garbage. So then I think enough people realized that was a load of garbage, and she had no legal authority to even say that she then tried to do these orders. In fact, the video that you showed, you should have showed the really great parts where she's lying to people, saying that the court said she didn't break any laws at all, and that she was in fact following the law very specifically.
Well, here's what I want to know, Catherine, because this is important. The important part of this is it's not just Michigan, but we're seeing these challenges all over the country to these COVID lockdowns and restrictions. And COVID restrictions by any other name appear to be the same. So my question to you, in Michigan specifically on this case, the Department of Health and Human Services falls under the governor in the executive branch. So she's just deferring to her deputies to put in the same rules, the same lockdowns, the same restrictions that have done tremendous damage to businesses, have kept schools closed in much of the state, have caused people to have all of these changes in their lives, disruption. And I understand the concerns over the virus, but that doesn't disregard constitutional protections, does it?
No, and like you pointed out, I don't know if you guys can see, but it says on this order, Gretchen Whitmer, and over here, the director, Robert Gordon of the Department of Health and Human Services. So yes, he is in fact in her department. There's no denying that. He's not some sort of separate, distinct entity or distinct branch of government. And regardless of, I'm not saying people aren't dying from COVID-19. I'm not saying that the immunocompromised shouldn't be, very cautious and careful, especially as they would be with flu season starting. Or anything of that nature. If you're going through chemo treatments or have some sort of big surgery coming up, you need to make sure that you're being careful with your health, absolutely. But it is your choice whether or not you want to wear a mask. It's your choice if you want to go into bigger settings, bigger crowds. If you don't want to do that, there's all kinds of services that have become available to people so that they can stay in the safety of their own homes and have items or services delivered to them. So the Constitution is very clear. We have rights. In fact, you can look at our Michigan Constitution, Article 1, Section 23, or the United States Constitution, which is the 9th Amendment. We have unenumerated rights, which are just as important and to be just as protected by our government officials as all of the other rights. So do we have to list out?
How concerned should we be? How concerned should we be, Catherine, as we look at what's happening in Michigan? It's also Cuomo in New York, Murphy in New Jersey, Evers in Wisconsin, Wolf in Pennsylvania, Brown in Oregon. All of these heavy-handed blue state Democrat governors having no mercy on their citizens. I mean, the death toll in Oregon is something like 300, and they've got 4.5 million people, and yet Governor Brown there continues to lock everything down with an iron fist. Whitmer in Michigan disregarding everything the Supreme Court said. She doesn't seem to be too concerned at all about it. She just moves to the next step and re-implements, leaving citizens completely confused. And by the way, the new orders handed down yesterday by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services come with $1,000 fines and 6 months in jail if you irritate the wrong group of people. It's unbelievable the amount of things that can happen here.
They actually come with a $200 fine, but nonetheless, it's still a fine. So, and 6 months in jail is absolutely on the table there for that order. But
you're right. The civil infraction is $1,000. The criminal infraction is 206 months. The civil infraction is $1,000. So you could end up with both.
Yes, and this order, they're hammering on the civil infractions are ones that were from his prior order, but he's incorporating those prior orders in, absolutely. So, yeah, we do need to be very afraid because let's say, you're talking about the logistics of how low the numbers are for COVID deaths, and you're correct about all that, but let's say this was the bubonic plague and half of our population was going to die. Does that change the constitutional framework upon which our government was founded? No, it doesn't limit any of our constitutionally protected God-given liberties. No, the government didn't give us those freedoms. The government cannot simply just take them away. Even in times of pandemic, even in times of emergency, even in times of utter chaos, we have a right
Catherine,
to
before
be
we
able to
leave,
breathe fresh air. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. We've got about 15 seconds. The Supreme Court of Michigan ruled. The governor doesn't seem to care. What can you do about it? You've got 15 seconds.
I will be definitely filing another motion with the Michigan Supreme Court in response to what Governor Whitmer is doing. And everyone else in Michigan just needs to go about their lives because these orders have no legal effect against them whatsoever.
Catherine Henry, greatly appreciate the work you've done in the courtroom, and thank you for being here on Real America's Voice on America's Voice Live on this Tuesday. Quick break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction, then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.
I'm Nick Bolton, and these days...
Hey there.
Hey there. It seems everybody has a pair of tactical sunglasses.
Good morning.
Morning. But what if you already wear glasses? Then you need these Up Tac Glasses. These new glasses fit right over your existing eyewear to give you all the benefits of our Tac glasses while you comfortably wear your regular glasses. Plus, like all Tac glasses, Up Tac Glasses feature Bell & Howell light filtering technology that makes invisible objects suddenly become visible. There's just nothing like them on the market today. Here you go, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
Act now to get your Up Tac Glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship them to you free. But wait, order today and you can get a second pair. Just pay a separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-284-4127 or go to flipupglasses.com. That's 1-800-284-4127 or order online at flipupglasses.com.
If you're just joining us, we have been talking about this breaking news where we now know that looks like Hillary Clinton was behind the Trump-Russia story, which should play out very interestingly for Adam Schiff, because he was the man who told us over and over again, Steve, that he had very clear evidence of Russian collusion. However, he actually had the evidence that the collusion was between Hillary Clinton and her made-up story friends. But last night, Adam Schiff had a debate with the person he is running against, Eric Early, and we had our own West Coast correspondent, Amanda Head, out there. I want to bring Amanda in now. Amanda?
Hi, Tudor. Yes, and I wish that was one of the topics that the moderator brought up. The moderator was from the Women's League of Voters, and that was not one of the topics. However, quite a few other topics were brought up. The conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia was brought up. That might seem kind of out of left field to a lot of people, but for those who aren't aware, District 28, which is the district that Adam Schiff has represented for decades, encompasses pieces of Hollywood, pieces of Burbank, but also pieces of Glendale, which has a very high Armenian population. So that, as well as the recognition of the Armenian genocide, was something that was on the docket for discussion, as well as the government's COVID response, California debt, homelessness and housing prices, obviously a major issue in this district, and also the Second Amendment. And we've got a clip of Eric Early's response to that. Here it is.
Thank you. Mr. Early, your 1 minute response, please.
I strongly support the Second Amendment. Nobody's taking our guns. Period. End of story. It's called the United States Constitution. Mr. Schiff, time for you to follow it. Listen, especially in this day and age, with the tyranny that we're seeing all around, we are literally living in a state where a governor has taken over our lives, all right? We need guns to protect us from tyrannical governments. We need guns for self-defense in a day and age where your party is supporting, defunding law enforcement, supporting these communists, these anarchists, these Antifas coming out of the cracks, burning and looting and trying, and who hate our country. This is a time when people need to be able to defend themselves more than ever before that I can remember. And from what we've been seeing, and actually what so many people in your party are showing, because they're buying guns too now, we're protecting our Second Amendment. Good luck going and finding one right now. They're sold out.
And another topic on the minds of folks who are supporting Eric Early, of course, the appointment of federal judges, as well as that coveted seat on the Supreme Court, and what they hope will be the eventual confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. Here it is.
Mr. Early, your 2 minute response, please.
What we need right now is for Amy Coney Barrett to be confirmed as soon as possible. The President of the United States, this is the Constitution that Mr. Schiff always claims that he wants to follow and that he claims he's always fighting for while he's trampling on it, says that the President of the United States gets to choose. The Republicans have a majority in the Senate. It is very unfortunate that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away. She was a true American. She believed in this country. She fought for this country. She fought for the Constitution. Unfortunately, she passed away. And she passed away while President Trump is still president. So it is time to confirm Amy Coney Barrett as soon as possible. Packing the Supreme Court.
So for those of you who did not see all of the footage, that was my footage that I took on my iPad, but Adam Schiff did not show up to debate. He appeared via Zoom, which tends to be kind of his MO. He actually was in Los Angeles. He was in the area, only about 10 minutes away, but it seems to be a pervasive attitude with his campaign. He seems to think that he's got this in the bag, so he didn't feel the need to show up in person and answer face-to-face to his constituents. But it is very telling that, I've lived in this district for 10 years in Hollywood, and now I live in a different area, but I'm still in District 28. And this is the first time since I have lived in this district that Adam Schiff has actually run attack ads. He took out an ad at the Staples Center during some games, and he is on the attack against Eric Early. So maybe it's because he feels threatened. It'll be interesting to see what happens come November. But we have some pieces of some words from an email that he sent out. He sent out an email blast immediately after the debate and accused Eric Early of being radical. He said, while Adam talked about priorities like addressing the COVID-19 crisis, passing universal health care, building our economy and communities back better, and expanding and protecting voting rights to fight back against voter disenfranchisement, this is what his extreme opponent had to say. And then he quoted a few of the things that Eric Early said last night. Now, keep in mind, Eric Early being a conservative running as a Republican, the folks who were there who actually showed up to this debate last night were supporters by and large of Eric Early. But that email messaging from Adam Schiff, that's pretty much right on par with the folks who have voted for him for so long. So let's wait until November and see what happens. But another quick story before the bottom of the break. or the bottom of the segment, this sign up in Hollywood, technically not Hollywood, it's actually more Bel Air, but that massive 20-foot sign, of course, just like the Hollywood sign with those big letters, on the south side of the 405, as for those of you who know the 405 heading towards Santa Monica, that was up in the mountains. And this news blast went out at around 7 a.m. A few hours ago. I took off my jammies, threw on some real clothes, drove as fast as I could to this area. It's by the Getty Center, for those who are familiar with the Hollywood area or the LA area, and it was already taken down. So it's just amazing how quickly the wheels of government turn when it's messaging that they don't like. I feel like LA's city workers have much better things to do than to climb a mountain and tear down these letters.
no.
But alas, it's LA, so nothing makes sense.
Trump signs disappear everywhere, Amanda, from what I can tell. Tudor and I were talking about that earlier. They just vanish from neighborhoods, yards, Hollywood, apparently. Thank you for everything, Amanda, as always. But Tudor, we talked about that earlier. The signs just up and vanish. The Trump signs are there, and then they're gone, and people have to restock. We're going to take a quick break. You're on America's Voice Live on a Tuesday.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this. Let's stack the deck. When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advance Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain, and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
So, Steve, you know when your child comes home from school with that little sheet where you have to put your fire prevention plan on it and you have to scale out your whole house. I don't know if your kids come home with this, but every year during Fire Prevention Week, my children come home with this, and I just wonder how much actually sticks with them. And it's one of those things where you kind of get to a comfort level of not having a fire in your house, so you don't necessarily talk about it that much, which is great that you were reminded by the schools. But one girl in Parma, Ohio, she had gone through fire prevention training at school, and she actually used it to not only save most of her home, but also her 18-year-old sister. Here, take a look at this.
So it's very fitting that we're here today during this week to recognize Jada, who learned through our schools, through our fire department on fire safety, and was able to take that education and utilize that in real life. And we're hopeful today, with us recognizing her, that other students remember that training that they learned in grade school, and that they also implement that and save lives like you did. So I'm so very honored to present with you a proclamation from my office on your HERE actions. Congratulations.
I love this story because she actually heard the fire in the garage, and she went over and touched the door carefully to see if it was hot. She felt that it was hot. She knew that it was a fire,
Yep.
and she went to get her 18-year-old sisters and ultimately saved both of their lives.
Luckily, I wasn't there. I would have run screaming from the house. I'm concerned about the video, though. Well, you know, I'm concerned. The fire chief had no mask on. I'm upset. I'm all torn up over that. He had no mask. What is he thinking? After she gets saved from the fire, and then he conducts himself that way, Tudor. I'm appalled. I don't even know quite what to say about it. Here's the story.
He burned
Kara's
it. He was
story
listening to your last segment.
Well, there you go. I appreciate that. Kara's favorite segment, Kara, the producer of this program. A California firefighter rescues a mountain lion cub. Oh, yeah. You got to see. I'm going to name her by name from here out. A mountain lion cub burned in a wildfire, saved. Aw. Say it with me, Tudor. Aw. That's what you're supposed to say. You know how this works. Went to a rescue. The young cat nursed back to health by that team of professionals. They're all gathered round giving love to the little lion cub. It makes me want to just, hold him up over my head, Oh, that's a different kind of lion, isn't it? The whole, what's the movie? Yeah.
He was saved by the fire department. Now he is a mascot. He's Captain Cal. So his little hands got, I guess they're not hands, his little paws got burned. So he is still healing, but he won't be able, because he lost his mama, he won't be able to go back into the wild. They're going to find him a home. Steve is making fun of Kara and me, I know, right now, because we love the animal stories. But
I love you
everybody
guys.
loves an animal story. I'm bringing you another animal story. Listen.
Right.
Look at this little guy. This is Joey. He was found alone. His mother, look at this little sea otter. So this is really fascinating because he was found alone, and so he was taken to the Vancouver Aquarium. So now he lives at the Vancouver Aquarium, where you can live stream with him because they're closed, so you can't actually go there and see him. But they are asking that if you care about animals right now, they had to lay off most of their staff. They're not open. They have just a few people there taking care of all of their animals and fish animals, I guess so, in their aquarium. And they are asking for donations. So if you can donate money to help little Joey at the Vancouver Aquarium, you should, until they can reopen. Obviously, they're closed because of COVID, Steve.
Right. And currently they've got Thing from the Addams Family feeding him, I've noticed, which is interesting. They just put the hand in there to feed him that nice bottle. Hey, it's a beautiful story. I've got a tear in my eye. I'm serious now. I mean, it's a beautiful little story. A serious note before we go, though. The vice presidential debate will be live, uninterrupted, right here on Real America's Voice starting tomorrow. Complete coverage at 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss any of it. Not often do vice presidential debates have such significance, but this year, with the plexiglass divider between Vice President Mike Pence and wannabe Vice President Senator Kamala Harris, it could be a real entertaining get-together. You can catch it all here. This has been America's Voice Live. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Uh-oh, there you go. Slow slicing fruits, veggies, and those stingy onions that bring you to tears. But not anymore. Introducing Nutrachopper, the compact handheld speed slicer that cuts up to 10 times quicker than a knife. Watch. You can have one slice or 10 perfect slices at once. Amazing! You can just julienne, or you can bundle slice julienne sticks at lightning speed. With Nutrachopper, you can slice the entire onion or mince a mound of onions and never have time for tears. Why slice a single apple wedge when you can